Welcome back to episode 208 of the God and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about God, guns, and the responsible Christian gun owner's interest. On this week's show, we'll be discussing this last weekend's USCCA show in Louisville and a little medical emergency that I had. We'll get into a little bit later. And with sponsor Farms Radio Network, we appreciate them sponsoring all of our content out there for you guys to. Doug's got your shirt up there.
I do. Check it out.
Yeah. We appreciate them sponsoring that so you guys can listen to it at your leisure. And also
Crossbreed holsters. If you're carrying a gun, you should be carrying it in a crossbreed. Check them out, crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross.
Hey, we've got a coupon code GNG at Crossbreed. So if you want to save some money, use that coupon code.
There you go.
This week's God and Gun activities, Doug, what are you up to?
Oh, man, let's see. On the God side, I finished Words from Jesus. I finished that book, so I got that one done. Sportsman's Daily Devotional. I didn't get to go to church on Sunday. I had my brother down this past week, and I was just telling Troy a minute ago, he worked me like a Grand Canyon pack mule, man, for last 5 days. We have been busy working on the brother-in-law house, trying to get that knocked out and done. And we put a big dent in it. He just went back home today. I just talked to him a few minutes ago, and he was on his way. He's probably up around Glasgow right about now, Troy. So he should be back up. And
oh, is he coming the back roads?
Nah, he's coming up 65.
Oh, okay.
So, but he should be right around. He's somewhere between Bowling Green and Nashville, Bowling Green and Nashville is where he's probably at. But he's booking along. Gun side, didn't do a whole lot in guns this week. However, I did get her back.
The prodigal son.
The prodigal Glock returns. And I tell you what, man, she was in rough shape when I got it back. And the cop down at Water Island Police Department, he called me and he said, "Hey, man, we got your Glock." I was like, "Sweet, I'll be done. Get it in a minute." And he said, "It's pretty dirty." I was like, "Okay." I said, "Ain't no big deal." And he said, "Well, you get it." He said, "Unless you're somewhat of a gun guy, you might want to have it checked out." I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I am a little bit of a gun guy." I said, "I think I can probably swing it." Yeah. So 3 coats of frog lube later. I put I cleaned the gun with the degreaser stuff first, and it was filthy. Got it cleaned up. I put frog lube on it, and it sucked that frog lube into that metal so fast that it looked like it was dried out again.
Yeah, a thirsty puppy.
It was a thirsty puppy. So I frog lubed it again the second time, and it started kind of like it was coming back a little bit, and there was no rust on it, thank goodness, which was a good thing. It looked like in the last 8 years, it had just not been oiled at all. So when I put the 3rd coat on it, man, she looks like a brand new Glock. It's a Glock 23 40 cal, Gen 3, and it is no worse for the wear now. It's glad to be home, and I think it kind of remembers me a little bit, but I'm not real sure. But it seems like it does. It fits in my hand very nicely. And
does it keep turning your wrist to the left?
It wants to shoot like this. And I keep going, no. And I like going at 10. It's like, no, you're not in Miami anymore. Come on now. So I'm breaking her from the old habits. You know, it's like the prodigal child has returned home. Thank goodness, after 8-year abduction. So I was pretty happy about that. So all was good, and it is a testament to the frog lube. I got to give it credit. It brought it back to life. I showed it to a buddy of mine at work when I picked it up at the police station, and he come out and looked at it. He goes, "Oh man," he said, "that's pretty rough looking." I said, "Nah, it's just cosmetic, man." I said, "I got some stuff at the house that will fix it." Yeah. And he's like, "Oh yeah," he said, "I want to see that." I sent him pictures that night after I got done with it, and he's like, "That ain't the same gun." I like it. It is. I laid him down. I laid my 19 down next to it, and other than the back strap on the back of it, you really can't tell the difference in it.
Wow.
So that's how good she actually looks. So
No rust in or pits or anything in the barrel?
no rust, no pits. No, it was just bad, dirty, man. It was in need of some lubrication on it.
Hmm. How about the springs? They need to be replaced?
Nope. It actually, believe it or not, I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see in the camera or not, but up on the top of the barrel, you know how
Mhm.
usually you get your slide wear right there.
Yeah.
None. There's nothing
Wow.
on it, and the barrel's got just a little bit on, the little smiley face on the bottom where
Mhm.
you shoot it. And I actually think I put those on there when I had it because I shot it a lot when I had it, and even the night sights are still glowing. So
Wow.
it's
It's
got
been going
tritium
how
night
long?
sights on it. So
9 years? How long was it?
it was in captivity for 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yep. And I had it. I bought it in 2000 and 2005 or 2006. I can't remember, but it's been gone a long time.
Wow.
But she's happy to be home. I can tell.
She curled all up in her little bed, went to sleep. Huh?
Yeah, I put her on the nightstand next to her sisters and let them get reacquainted.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Hey, got all
What
your
about you,
stuff?
man? What you been up to?
All right. Let's see. Where's my stuff at? Where'd it go? Oh, there. Let's see. On the church God side, church security, I worked for early Sunday morning, then I got to go to the service, and then I worked the second part of the small group. We've got like small groups that meet before the service. We have the service, and then we have a second series of small groups that meet in the rooms to utilize our campus the best. Of course, I have my radio on during the church service and everything. We had a few interlopers around on
Interlopers. I like that.
whatever you want to call them. You know, coming in and trying to get in and uh, getting what they can. Just a couple on Sunday morning. We had some Wednesday night. Had trustees meeting Wednesday night, and then I got that. I went in and helped out with the church security. It was already going by that time, and had some guys show up, and it was just a well. What do you say? Wednesday night. Everything sort of runs together, man.
I know, right?
I don't know if we had anything. Oh, I had something going on, but I'm not going to talk about it. It's one of the youth things, but um, nothing really big. And then been busy with missions planning the trip to back to Gillette this summer. Been working on that, and it's been hard getting communications between the people out there and the people that went last year. Several of those can't go this year, so it's gonna be a little bit different dynamic of team. And it's coming up quick. I mean, it's coming up the second week of June, so people have to make a decision pretty quick in order for us to get rooms and things like that, vehicles and all that stuff. Last year we just about didn't get anything to rent because everything was rented up for the summer. Let's see, just other church activities. That there were several things I had to do this week for my trustees role. So I've been busy with that, running back and forth to Glasgow. On the gun side,
Excuse
daily,
me.
daily concealed carry. I didn't get the extra ticket. I went and took it, and I fell 7 points short. So I have to keep studying. It was a lot harder than the general and the technician. Very difficult test and a very confusing testing room where we were at was the wall adjacent to the loud PA speaker where they were making calls during the ham fest about who won what and advertising barbecue sandwiches outside for sale and it was
Nothing like breaking your concentration like a
yeah,
barbecue sandwich.
that and the VCs, the guys that were supposed to be the VEs, the volunteer exam people were supposed to be keeping the room quiet. Well, they were talking and showing each other Facebook videos, and uh, it was a very confusing, noisy room, and It was my fault. I mean, if I'd known everything, it wouldn't really mattered probably, but I just couldn't concentrate. It took me forever to get through the test, and it's just not like me. I'm usually like first or second person who pops up and is out. But I just wasn't prepared. It's just a lot of stuff. Uh, it's really outside of my normal skill set, so I was really having to study hard, and I found that it's harder for me to study the older I get.
Yeah.
So I'll get it. It's going to take me a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Shot a big old snake today out by the pool pump house today. It
Good.
was all curled, come up out of the ground, all curled up beside the pool pump house. And I thought, well, if the kids and the wife see that, they'll never swim this summer. So they'll never go near the pool. So he was all curled up there in the sun. I missed him. Oh, I don't know that I missed him. I hit the first time. He went off in the hole. I thought for sure I hit him. I mean, I had a bead right on him and popped him. It's about, I don't know, 60, 70 feet. And at that little 1022, I mean, it's a dead ringer. And he come crawling back out about 5 minutes later. I just sat there waiting for him. So I figured he'd come back out there to get warm. He come back out there again. He got about half of his body out there. I thought he was going to make a run for the bushes. It was 10 feet away. I thought, well, I can eat before he gets too comfortable. And he got out there, and I swore I hit him the second time. He coiled up like he'd been hit, and then he rolled back in the hole. I was like, man. So I figured I hit him just when the hole. He come back out the third time. And I lined up on him, and he wasn't moving quite right. He looked like he was not as easy as usually snakes move. He sort of jerking around. He got up there and I just let him sit there in the sun and pull himself all the way out. I lined up right in the middle of the back of his head, and I pulled off a shot, and I pulled off a second shot in his body, and he coiled and flipped and twisted and everything else, and then went back in the hole. But he never came back out again. So I know I hit him twice. I know I hit him twice out of those 4 shots. I was like, man, I've got to check his rifle out, see what's going on here. It's usually one shot wonder, But that was enough little shooting I got to do. I wanted to shoot some starlings, man. They are covering us up, our cars up with white rain.
Uh-huh.
They've just messed all over. Gunner just goes outside and waits for him because he's been keeping his truck spotless, and they have just deluged his truck. So he has a new enemy, the starling, and we've got another bird that's been beating his head in on the windows and stuff. And Chris is like, "Go do something about that bird." But springtime, all the animals are testing you. Let's see, what else do we do?
So what do you want me to do? Open the window so he don't hit it?
Yeah, she just wants me to get rid of him. Let's see. I haven't got started on fencing. Of course, it was snowing all day yesterday.
I saw that, man. What the heck? April.
I think it snowed every week in the last 7 weeks here. At least one day a week for the last 6-7 weeks. And I mean, it wasn't any accumulation, but it was just aggravating because the wind was blowing like 30 miles an hour and the snow was going sideways. And it snowed all day. I mean, the ground temp was too warm for it to stick, but it just was like, I'm tired of this cold weather, man. I want to go away. It should be spring.
That's the way it was down here. Sunday morning? No, Monday morning. Yesterday morning. Me and John went over to the house. We got up and walked out the door, and neither one of us had jackets on. It was 41 degrees. I was like, woo. I said, yeah, we might need to get us a jacket. He's like, I didn't think it was supposed to be that cold down here in Georgia. I'm like, it ain't.
It was 31 this morning when I went out, and I wear shorts,
Oh, me too.
And I went out and took the trash out and walked the dogs out to the field yard so they go further away from the house. And that wind was blowing. It was cold. I was like, man, I'm sick of the cold weather.
I've been trying to get that house and stuff ready, and last week was just actually 2 weeks ago now. It's just been a week, man. My air conditioner went out, my pool pump went out, and if it could go wrong, it happened. And the first guy that came out looking at my air conditioning unit told me, it was going to be $4,500. He said, I'll try to see if I can find you a used one, that I can replace. Because I have one that's got the older refrigerant in it.
Yeah.
My inside unit's only 3 years old. It was my outside unit that went out. And I'm like, man, $4,500, I just can't handle that right now. So I shut that joker off. And we just opened the kitchen window. I mean, it's been down in the 40s at night.
Yeah.
And, in the 70s during the day, you really didn't need an air conditioner. And so my wife, God love her, she is always looking for some deals on stuff. And she found an air conditioning guy here that was selling a Linux system that he had put a new system in. Their inside unit went out, and they just wanted to buy the whole thing. And they hadn't been long since I think the unit is 6 years old, but he came out and replaced it for me. About an hour and a half, he was done. Only cost me $600.
There you go.
And he warranted it for 2 years, and said, "Hey, if anything happens to it, I'll take care of it for you."
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, "Sold, bring it."
She sounds like Krista. She's always finding deals for me.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Well, I took Audrey shooting. I had posted some pictures of that. She's out shooting her 10-22.
She looked like she was having a good time too.
Yeah. She said after she'd shot the steel target, I've got that like hostage target. I don't know if you see it. It's like a steel plate with a little hole in the center of it. So it's got a flap around in the back. And she was hitting that. It was so rusty from sitting out in the winter. It had been out there all winter. Got rain and snowed on everything. So it was a little bit rusty. It wasn't wanting to swing around. And I said, you're hitting it. And she's like, am I? I said, I'll pick you up one of them little daisies there and put it in that hole. She put it up there, and she never could hit it after that. She said, I don't think you can hit that. And she said, here, you try. And I pulled up and I shot the daisy right out of it. The first thing I said, ain't nothing wrong with that gun. I said, you were hitting it. I said, just go back to shooting. So she went and stuck another daisy in it, and she popped it right out of there after that. But it was funny to watch her shoot and try, work with her about keeping her thumb off the top and proper finger placement and how to properly, do the chicken wing, hold your arm up, get it in your pocket, and to let the rifle lay in your hand instead of squeezing it. And it's a lot to take in when you're a little kid, but she did really good at it. I was trying to be as patient as I can. My wife says I'm not patient enough, but we put, I don't know, about 100 rounds downrange. And she said, I don't like reloading these magazines. This is hard.
that's part of it.
All part of it. So that's pretty much my gun and gun stuff. I was at USCCA this weekend, but that's main topic, so we'll talk about that. And I had a little bit of a medical emergency. We'll bring that up in the main topic as well. Your EDC, what are you wearing?
I got my Glock 19, but I actually did carry the 40 today. So
did you?
I did. I took her for a test run.
Nostalgia.
Let her fill her oats a little bit. Let her get used to it. And it fits perfect. Any holster I have for my Glock 19 fits the 23. No problem. So it works in my crossbreed holsters, and rock on.
Cool. I've got the Glock 19 on. Usual stuff. I'm not going to go through all that. I do have the Student of the Gun Enhanced Lifesaver it's on the desk right now, but it's in my pocket all day. And what else? Everything's usual. Nothing.
There you go. That's for visual.
Drop slide.
The drop slide with, I don't know if you can see that good. There it is. Now you can see it, I think, in the light. But the 23 in the drop slide crossbreed holster.
Cool. Saw lots of crossbreed holsters this weekend, by the way.
I bet you did.
All right, you got a comedy joke for?
I do. Let me switch back over to this one here. The lawyer. Yeah, I thought it was fitting since we had our buddy Mike on last week.
Yeah.
A lawyer runs a stop sign and gets pulled over by a sheriff. He thinks he's being smarter and a big shot lawyer from New York. and has a better education than a sheriff from West Virginia. If you're from West Virginia, sorry about that. The sheriff asked for license and registration. The lawyer asked, "What for?" The sheriff responds, "You didn't come to a complete stop at the stop sign." The lawyer says, "I slowed down and no one was coming." He said, "You still didn't come to a complete stop. License and registration, please," said the sheriff. The lawyer says, "If you can show me the legal difference between slowing down and a stop, I'll give you my license and registration. And if then you can give me a ticket. If not, you have to let me go and don't give me a ticket." Sheriff says, "Okay, that sounds fair enough. Please exit the vehicle." Lawyer steps out of the car. The sheriff takes out his nightstick and starts beating the lawyer with it. The sheriff says, "Do you want me to stop or you want me to just slow down?" I always got to prove it to the lawyers.
Yep. Not Mike, though. Mike's a good guy.
Mike is a good guy.
He's an exceptional difference there.
He is. He's on our side.
He's on our side. He's on America's side. All right. So,
hey, was he up at the show this weekend?
No, he wasn't able to make it down here. It's too far south for Mike. There were some guys from U.S. Law Shield that were incognito come in all sly and snuck into the USCCA, but he wasn't amongst them. He wasn't in their company. So we have some feedback. I got one here for it says, "Brothers, greetings from Massachusetts. Can you believe there's still gun owners and Christians in Massachusetts? Hard to believe, right? I can't say there are many of us, but I know there are at least a few. I really enjoy the show. It gives me a taste of what real freedom must be like. As much as I would like to abandon the state is where guys put me for the time being, so I'm doing what I can to support those fighting for our rights here." He says, "Yesterday I kicked off a t-shirt fundraiser to support one of our state 2A groups, Second Amendment groups. If you're interested in supporting and sharing, our link is," and I'll put our show notes if you guys want to support them. He says, "Thanks, brother. And if you ever have the mispleasure of ending up in Massachusetts, let me know. And I would love to take you guys to the range, Simon." And this is Massachusetts. It's not New Jersey, where our buddy Simon lives. Let's see who else we got here. We got another feedback. Let's see. You want to take this one?
Sure.
Or you want me to take it?
Just got the opportunity to listen to the episode with Mike Garamita from U.S. Law Shield, and had to write after hearing something Michael said. I was that guy that Michael mentioned, who he signed the book mentioning the God and Guns podcast. He is personally responsible for me being a listener to the podcast. I believe I was wearing a shirt that says "Jesus loves me and my guns," and that started the conversation that night. He mentioned the podcast, and after all this time, I had forgotten that he was the one who told me about it. I've been a listener ever since that day. Michael delivered a very informative seminar on firearms law, and it really opened my eyes to the responsibility of gun owners to know the laws relating to how to respond after an incident involving the use of a firearm. While his book on PA gun law was filled with facts and very informative, the seminar ran by U.S. Law Shield made it easy to understand. I can't thank Michael enough for telling me about the God and Guns podcast, and you guys for the great podcast. Blessings. And your brother in Christ, Chuck Shettle.
He said, pronounced like kettle, but with a CH. So we're doing it right, I think.
We did do it right.
Thanks, Chuck.
Even with our Kentucky educations.
I forwarded it on to Mike. He said, awesome. He said, I was in a thing last night. He said, I was at a seminar last night. And he said, and the woman came up and said, "Are you the Mike that was on the Gun and Gun show last week?" I was like, cool. So that's great to hear. Let's see. I haven't checked for, I'm blowing my eardrums out here. Let me turn myself down. Is it too loud on your end or does it sound okay?
Oh, you're good on my end.
It's blowing my eardrums out here. In order to get the sound levels right, I have to crank mine way up. and to hear you have to turn the volume up, and I keep adjusting your volume, but you keep sounding lower and I keep sounding louder. So
Oh, really?
sorry for the delay. Um, this week's Bible verse will be out of Colossians 3, verses 15 through 17. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God in the Father through him. And that's, again, Colossians 3, verses 15 through 17. And I sort of butchered that all the way through. So let's break it down. So what we're seeing here, of course, a letter to the church in Colossus, that he's talking to them about that we should make sure that we are showing the love of Christ, that we're showing letting God live through us, that we're being transparent before people, and that we are showing our thanks, having a thankful heart, being grateful for what we have, and that we are allowing God to use us. And so this last week with the bombings and stuff going on in Syria and the war rumblings and Russia threatening to retaliate and just everything going on, it just makes us, it just caused me to, be prayerful for my children, for my children's future. What is this? Where is this world going? How soon is it going down? And all that. I mean, I have peace in my heart that no matter what happens, we're okay in the long run. But it's just what kind of world, if Jesus doesn't come back soon, are our children going to be dealing with? Our grandchildren going to be dealing with? And these verses just help me to remember that it's in times when people are nervous or worried that us as believers should be rock solid, because our faith is not in government and Trump and missiles or defense or Second Amendment or America. Our hope is in Jesus. Our hope is found in Christ alone. And that we need to make sure that when people see us, that we're being transparent and being open with them. And that, we might be nervous about what's going on, but in the end, our hope is in Christ. And we really don't, what happens in this world, there's nothing we can do to affect it. I mean, evil is going to reign until God comes back and destroys it once and for all. Put Satan in his place. And so we want to make sure that we're living a life of a believer. We're outwardly speaking as a believer. We're outwardly being transparent in our failures so that we don't appear to be um, condescending or know-it-alls or arrogant. We want to be open and approachable to those who would like to know about Christ, who want to know why it is we have this hope, that we have this security, that we have this life of just a surety, that we know that we know, and we can, just look in the face of death and be ready. And we just need to make sure that, we're putting our faith not in Trump, not in any of the policies going on, not in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party or anything other than Christ. And that, when my wife looks to me and says, what does this mean? My pop filter just fell off. What does this mean when these missiles are going off? Are we at war? I said, well, they've been trying to have us at war now for many years. We've effectively been at war for many years. There's nothing really we can do about it. Our children are saved. We're doing the best we can do. We're going to trust God that He's going to work it out for our best. And so that's what Scripture says. It says that He's going to do what He's going to do for His glory and for our best. And so we're just going to trust in that and not worry about it. Not don't fret about it. All through the Bible, He tells believers that we're not to worry. He's in control. and he's doing everything for his glory and for our benefit. And so um, that's the way I've spoke to my children about it. You know, when you're talking about we might be going uh, back to war with Russia in a more real way, not a Cold War way, but a active war. What what does that entail? Should not be afraid as believers. They should be assured of their salvation. They should be assured that God will provide for those whom He loves, and if we're followers of Christ, He loves us. He wants the best for us. And if you're not a believer, God wants to. He wants you to be. He wants you to know Him, and He wants you to hear the gospel message so that you can have your sins forgiven, so that you can be a child of God. So Colossians 3:17, 15 through 17. Doug, jump in here.
No, I'm with you, man. It hadn't made me nervous at all. Because I mean, worst case, I know where I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about it. And like you said, it's all in God's hand. Ain't nothing we can do about it. He's got the big plan, not us.
right. And we need to be that light in this dark world. I mean, you can see what's going on with evil reigning. I mean, we just had a wet dry vote here in Hodgenville, of all places, and it just won by like 8 votes or something. Uh, it's going wet now. I know people that drink and have no problem with it, but I know that in Glasgow, when it went wet, or when Barron County went wet, it crime went up, drunk driving went up, wrecks went up. They had to hire more police. It's I know people can do what they want to do, and drinking is if you're able to control that, that's fine. There are a lot of people that aren't, and so we've had more and more kids that have had to be put into foster care because of incidences relating to alcohol and drugs, and it's just it's sad to see that happen in a community that I really enjoyed Glasgow, and then after it went wet, it just really went downhill quick, and the amount of reckless driving and the amount of just things that I saw going on, uh, like the road that I lived on, the number of beer cans and beer bottles tripled the first month, all up and down our road. I would go out there every week, and I would pick up 20 or 30 bottles of beer, or broken bottles of beer, before I could mow the yard in cans. And it went like 3 times that. I mean, it was just, I was taking full garbage bags of beer cans and bottles off my stretch of the road there, where people were drinking and throwing them out before they got home or whatever. It's just, and I just couldn't believe that that community had changed that much in the 7, 8 years we were living there. And I'm hoping that it doesn't do that here. But I just went out today and picked up 3 beer bottles on our little county road. I mean, little county road. You know the road we live on, Doug. It's
Mm-hmm.
and that was since I mowed last Friday. Uh, I just don't see that being a good thing. But I mean, the vote just happened today, so yeah, it's crazy. So, but that doesn't mean everybody that drinks is bad. I'm not saying everybody drinks is bad. I'm not saying anybody that drinks is bad. I'm saying that it is another um, situation where um, you see the culture changing. And I mean, Lure County one never even thought of trying a wet vote here when we were kids. Ever. I mean, there's just too many. 95% of the people went to church every every Sunday. It just wasn't going to happen. So I just wandered off into the woods there, but it's no big deal. Uh, just I see that the world is becoming more and more dark. I see the TV shows and stuff. I mean, I've turned off Netflix now. Uh, when they hired that communist lady to take over on the board, um, the one that lied to us about Benghazi, Susan Rice, when she lied to everybody about what was going on over over there in Benghazi, tried to cover all that up, and then Netflix hires her on as a board of directors member. I'm not supporting that, so I canceled Netflix. Kids were mad at me. I'm like, sorry, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to put my money to things like that. And so it may be that we're all reading books again real soon, because I just don't want to support that kind of activity. All right, so off the guide, off the Bible stuff, onto the main topic, USCCA meet and greet. We had a bunch of people show up. I was actually surprised at the number of people that came up and said hello, and we had several guys from Bulwarks come by, the Bulwarks group that I go take classes at. It's a good training school for firearms and medical. Jesse was there, and who else was there? Luke and Jesse's daughter was there. And I saw, I can't remember his name right now. He's from Glasgow. He was there. He's another one of I think he was one of the medical instructors, was there. And I'm Eric, the guy that runs Bulwarks, was there the night before. He was there on Friday. I didn't go up till Saturday due to nursing an injury, and but it was great. I got to hang out with Murray and Nathan and Carol and Nico, and I forgot who it was that showed up late, but he'd been out working, going to different dealerships in the area, and got to hang out with those guys, and I actually got to help sell holsters and belts, and I
Ain't
don't know
that
how many.
fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and people come like, "Well, you don't even work here." It's like, I was like, "Not officially." I said, "I don't get paid." I said, "But they support our show, and we had a meet and greet, so I was here, and they were swamped." So what happened last year at the USCCA? There was like one third the people that were there this year, and so they planned for about one third the crowd that actually showed up. They were only staffed with 5 people, and
Really?
yeah, or only 4 people really. Let's see, they only were staffed with 4 for most of the show, because they were expecting a small crowd like they had last year. Well, USCCA really put out the promotion this year. Really did a lot of marketing, because I didn't even know about last year till the day of the show. It like popped up on my Facebook. Hey, some of the people you know are going to be at the show. I was like, huh? And like, I didn't even know it was going to be in Louisville. I would have went to that. And this year, yeah, I made plans to go, and they were swamped, man. They had sold almost all of their stuff by like 2 o'clock on Saturday. Like
Oh,
most of their belts were gone, a lot of their holsters were all gone, and they're like, "Well, we should have brought a lot more stuff and brought more people." They said, "Thanks a lot, for helping us out, helping us get these sales and stuff." And Nathan was like, "I'm gonna put you on the computer and have you start running these orders through."
heck yeah.
It's like, I just rather talk to people. I said, I just send them to you to check out. He's like, I don't want to do that.
We can sell for them all day.
Yeah. And I was witnessing on those belts, man. This one lady come up and her husband said, she said, I keep buying him belts all the time. They keep breaking. And I said, this belt won't break. I said, when I first started wearing a crossbreed belt, I was 465 pounds and I was wearing a size 62 belt. I said, now it wraps about 2 feet of it's hanging off of it. And I said, I still have the belt. It still works fine. I still use it. I'm on the farm and things like that. I said, but I used to do the same thing. I used to have belts break. And she goes, wait a second, you don't even work here. And she says, you need to buy this belt because this guy don't even work here. And he's telling you how good the belts are.
Yep.
He's like, well, I don't want to pay that much for it. I said, I paid $78 for mine. I said, they're on sale right now for $47. You need to buy one right now. You go at that price until next year. And he's like, oh, okay. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed catching up with them. And then, I keep hitting my mic. Sorry, guys. My pop filter has decided it's just going to break and fall off, I think. So, yeah, it's all bent out of whack. It's going to fall off all the way through the show. I'm going to take it off here. But you've done that, Doug. You've been there at the show and helped sell.
I did.
We've both done it lots of different shows.
Yeah, I was with them when USCCA was here in Atlanta, and I went up and spent a couple of days with them up there and helped out. And of course, we both helped sell. We talked about hosts. You had to get in line at the NRA convention, to help the crossbreed guys out because everybody they know everybody, so everybody
Oh
wanted to
yeah,
come help out.
it's a lot louder.
I know what was it? NRA? Was it NRA last year or the year before that they gave us all those stickers to pass out to people? They just went perusing the crowd, and if they randomly saw a sticker, they gave away a holster or something.
Yeah, that was Louisville, wasn't it?
It might have been a little. I can't tell you how many of them stickers I handed out to people and told them about
Yeah.
crossbreed and told them where to go find them and stuff. And crossbreed's been good to us, man. We want to talk them up.
Yep. Yeah, half your family was up there.
They all bought holsters too, man.
Yeah, he did. He told me they got a new belt coming out. It's going to be like the King Kong of all belts. He said he's going to send one out to me as soon as they got the prototype ready to test out for about 3 months, and then to give them a feedback on it before they release it.
Nice. That's cool, man. I got a couple of guys that work that are fixing to buy crossbreed holsters for the very first ones. I've actually gave them my holster, and one of them's got a Glock 19 and one of them had a 45, and I said, here, take my holster and try it and see how you like it. And they're like, oh, I don't want to take it. I said, well, you can't keep it, but you can take it and try it and see how you like it. They wore it and they come back and they're like, man, it feels like you're not even wearing a holster. I'm like, I know, right? That's the whole point.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot different than most holsters. I mean, there's certain holsters you need for specific, like duty rigs are different. But for a regular person just carrying a gun concealed, you can't be a crossbreed holster. But if you're shooting IDB, whatever, 3 guns or whatever, and you need an outside the waistband rig or something, you need a specific holster for that kind of race gun stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've got some outside the waistband holsters and things, but just for concealed carry holsters, just the comfort, the longevity of it, the warranty they offer, the 2 week free trial. If you don't like it within 2 weeks, send it back and they'll refund your money or get you something different. You just can't beat it as a company. They just have a great reputation and just great people working there.
And they're faith-based.
Yeah. Carol said, "Where's Doug at?" it's like he couldn't make it. He's working on brother-in-law house, and so he's not been able to go do anything for like the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, turkey season's been in since the end of March, and I haven't even thought about turkey hunting. There's just no way I can go do it right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hear them popping off in the distance at dusk and in the mornings. I hear them shooting them. But,
on your plate? Oh, shooting turkeys?
Shooting around the different farms around. No, between Gunner and Tim and my neighbors, we're pretty much thinned out the poachers. I told them, you see them, I said, you go warn them off, or I'm coming for them. And they've been going and saying, you need to get out of here.
I almost got to pop a coyote yesterday.
Oh man!
I looked. We had walked out of the house and was standing out by the garden, just standing there, and I was right by the truck. I didn't have my gun on me. I had it laying in the truck seat because I'd been doing tile and getting down, shooting baseboards and this and that, and it was just a pain laying on that concrete floor with that gun on your side. So I just had it out and laid it in my truck. And my brother goes, "Look at that man coming across the pond dam." He said, "That's a coyote." I said, "Oh, buddy." I ran over and grabbed the gun and I snuck down by the fence. He came up and there was a fence he ran into, and he could either go left or right to go across. And if he'd come to my left, he'd walk right out in a gap. I mean, right in front of me. I had the Glock up. I was going to bust him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Coyote's got that sixth sense about him, man. He turned and my future son-in-law told me, he said, "I don't know, he might have heard you or seen you because he turned and went the other way and went under the fence and went on the neighbor's property." I was like, okay, I got something for him. I'm gonna throw the 17 HMR in the back of the truck, and just start carrying it every time I go over. I'm gonna get him. I've done seen him 3 times now.
Oh yeah,
he's fixing to get popped.
Make you a coyote hat or something.
I don't know if I want to put that thing on my head or not.
Well, yeah, I was up the Great American, man. They sell furs there. They had some really pretty coyote furs. I hadn't never thought you could make one look good, but they had big old fur. It looked like a wolf, man. They were so big. Let's see. So,
So did you? Was there a lot of vendors and stuff up at the USCCA this year?
it was a fairly small show. I mean, there was probably 100 booths altogether, 120 maybe booths, which was pretty good for the size show it was. It was all catered towards concealed carry,
Mm-hmm.
so there wasn't a bunch of fur people there. There wasn't a bunch of hunting lodges and all that stuff set up like you'd see at the NRA or Great
Right.
American. It was really catered towards the concealed carry and firearms related things. So a lot of the laser app was there. Those guys were there, but John wasn't there. And who else did I see? Kentucky Gun Company was there, and Buds was
Who was that?
Kentucky Gun Company was there.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, and I stopped by and saw them. They were packed the whole time. Every time I went by, they had like 5 people working. There was people lined up to buy stuff. They had some show specials. They were just outstanding prices as usual. And then Buds was there out of Lexington, and I think they got a store in Tennessee now too. We got 2 or 3 stores now, but they were there, and I was trying to think of any other people that sponsor the show. There weren't any other sponsors besides Laser App and Crossbreed. Um, Someone said Glock was there, but I didn't. I went around like 3 times around the show. I mean, you could walk the whole show if you were just walking to see what was there. You could walk the whole thing in 15 minutes. It wasn't, it's not nothing like NRA
Right.
and or Shot. I mean, Shot's you got to walk for 3 days to see everything, but it was a decent show. And it was it was catered towards concealed carry. USCCA was set up right beside a Crossbreed, and then right on the other side of the Crossbreed was Galco. And Galco's got a whole line of holsters that look just like Crossbreeds now.
Imagine that.
They just copied them completely. But Crossbreed was right in the entrance. When you come in the door, Crossbreed's right there. So everybody saw Crossbreed, and so I saw tons of people. Saw all kinds of people, friends I knew, and then just a lot of listeners. We probably had 25 to 30 listeners.
Really?
Yeah, people stopped in. It was really really good. I was surprised, at the number, but people just kept stopping by and say, "Hey, Troy," and come up and start introducing themselves and stuff. And I met a couple of people out in the hallway, and then I was telling you before the show, Rebecca Brown went to church with us. Was our youth group. She was working for Red Cross. She was a volunteer for Red Cross up there during the show, and she stopped by and said hello. So it was good. It was good. It was a good time. It was. I'll probably do it again next year, and as long as they let me in, if they find
Where are they
out.
going to be next year?
They were in Louisville the last 2 years. I assume they're going to be back in Louisville again. I don't know, but
He come back to hot Atlanta.
to Atlanta, I don't want to go to Atlanta.
Yeah, I hate that I had to miss it, but I got a short turnaround on this house,
Yeah,
and I need to get it done. My wife wants to. I moved my brother-in-law into that one. That we start working on the other one because I've already got a renter for this house. He's ready to go, and I got some stuff I want to do to it before he moves in. Make it all nice and pretty for him.
yep. Okay, so I almost forgot what I was talking about. So yeah, I had 2 guys from U.S. Law Shield. Mike had sicked them on me, so, so I get a text or a phone call. I got a phone call, I guess it was, on like Thursday saying, "Hey, you gonna be at the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And they said, "Can we sit down and talk to you?" I'm like, "Sure." So we're gonna be talking to those guys, see what they got going. They're in Kentucky now, and so there's some states they're not in yet, so I don't know how the coverage is going to work out. But I'm going to sit down with I'm not going to mention their names, but a couple of U.S. Law Shield guys and that represent this area and this region, and uh, and talk to them about. They said they might have some interest in supporting the show, so that would be good.
Outstanding.
So what else was? Oh, on the when I was talking with Murray and them, they have the new belt coming out. They've got the executive belts now. If you haven't seen those, they're like a really high end finish, like a nickel plated finish. You can see all this on their website, and we've got links or show notes for you guys to find. But they've got new executive belts. Oh, they've been out for a little while, and the the hand the leather's like hand polished or whatever, and tanned, and it's got a really beautiful luster to it. Even better than the regular standard holster, standard. Whew, I get things straight. Standard belts, but they've got a Western style belt buckle now too. Have you seen that?
I have seen it.
And so they had both of those like 20% off. The show price was like 20% off regular price, no tax. The tax was sort of thrown into the price. Of course, there's no shipping, as you could take it right there. And if they didn't have it in stock or they didn't have your size, they would give you the same price. You could buy it online with a discount card they had and have it shipped to your house for free. So it was a good deal. Murray was telling me that he and Nathan and Carol have all bought the CZP-10C pistol. They said it's the best pistol out there, according to them. They said it's like a Glock and a Smith and Wesson M&P had a baby, and then they stuck in I forget what the trigger was, some kind of really nice trigger, and they said it was like the best of all three worlds: the best trigger, the best uh, ergonomics of the Smith and Wesson, and the best reliability of the Glock, all wrapped into one. So, of course, now it's on my short list. I've got, I've got to find one. I looked at the show; no one had one to see if any of the booths had it or if Buds had it, just to get a feel for it. Because I've looked at the CZs before. I just didn't like the way they felt in my hand. It looks a lot like a Canik TP9.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that look to it, but it's different. It's got sort of like a curved grip. It does look like it has good ergonomics. Looks like your hand would fit it well. Of course, Carol's like 4'11" or something, and then you got Murray, who's like 6'4", 6'5", something like that. And both of them like the same gun, so you know that the grip is going to have to be pretty phenomenal to fit those two different hands. And of course, yeah, Nathan's hands are pretty small. He's a smaller guy. He's got short fingers and stuff, but he likes it too. So uh,
Huh.
I didn't get to talk to Nico about it. Nico was working hard, man. Nico was everywhere. He was
Really?
Nathan kept on sneaking off and going to other booths and stuff, and then Murray would get caught up in conversation. You know, Murray is he knows everybody, and
He does.
there's never a person that he doesn't automatically connect with and just like they've known each other all their life kind of thing. Uh, so he was busy talking, and Carol was busy selling. So, but Nico was he was on fire, man. He was all over the place. Let's see. So that's pretty much the crossbreed, the USCCA meet. It was interesting. It was good. Uh, the marketing guys there at USCCA wanted me to interview Tim Schmidt while I was there, and I was like, I'm not really set up for that. I don't want to have a camera person, and I didn't really bring the equipment to do that with. And I said, well, we can set up a interview later. They said, oh yeah, yeah. So I've got all of their numbers now because I tried to get him on when I used to be a USCCA um, firearms instructor that promoted them during my training. I would promote their coverage. Never could get an audience with him, so maybe he'll talk to me now. So we'll see. I'll see. Okay, so a medical emergency. So after church last Wednesday night, I was excited because I was going to come home and change clothes and head to the gym because I've been wanting to get back to the gym, and I had those injuries and I couldn't get back in the gym. Well, I was going back to the gym. I came home, was changing clothes, and when I was changing clothes, I reached down and I had these varicose veins on my legs, and it comes from 30 years of sales and stuff in a chair instead of or walking. I'm either walking in factories or I'm sitting in a chair or a car driving long distance. So, and they run in my family. So, but I reach down to scratch, it's like an itch, like something like you feel like something bit you or something. And I don't know what's going on here. My keyboard's falling. My pop filter fell off. Everything's falling apart. My chair's about to fall apart. So if you see me just roll back and disappear, my chair is broke. I'm going to have to upgrade my office here. Excuse me. So I reached down and scratched my leg, and apparently I had a fingernail was a little sharp or something, and it nicked one of those varicose veins that was right on the surface. And I feel warmth on my other leg, and I look down, and there's a stream of blood shooting out of my left calf and hitting my right calf, and then going on past that and hitting the wall like 4 feet away. And it looks like somebody's taking a hose and is spraying blood. And I'm like, what in the world? And I look down, and I'm sitting there just sort of staring at it for a second, like, that can't be real. It was real. I had blood shooting all over the place. And luckily we're in our bathroom where we have tile floor. And I hollered at Chris and said, hey, grab my bleed bag. I've got a bleed bag I take with me to church. I just sort of keep it in my truck with me all the time. It's got tourniquets and bandages and all that stuff in it. And I've got this one that was in my pocket. And but my bleed bag was like right there beside of her across the room. And she grabbed it, and I grabbed her some paper and put pressure on it and was holding it. And it just bled right through that paper. And so I was like, this is turning serious. It's bleeding down my boot. It's bled all over my pants and stuff laying on the floor. It's bleeding on my crossbreed holster. It's bleeding on my gun. It's bleeding everywhere, man. It's just spraying out. And so I get a gauze, get 2 things of gauze, put on there, and it goes right through that gauze. I mean, it just fills that gauze up. I'm like, what in the world? It's like somebody cut an artery. I mean, it was a serious amount of blood. It was just, but it wasn't pulsing. It was just a stream.
Steady stream.
A steady stream. And I was like, what is going on here? And so she gave me some more bandages. I put direct pressure on, held pressure on that open vein or wherever it was there for like 3 minutes. And I thought, well, I should stop it, direct pressure, 3 minutes, pulled it off, started spraying again, just as strong as it was before. Like nothing had stopped it. And so I go, this isn't good. So I put 2 more bandages on it, put direct pressure on it, held it. And I said, call Sam. Sam is my cousin's husband, who is a paramedic, and he lives across the street. And I said, call Sam and see if he's home and see if he can come over and take a look at this. Should I go to the hospital or what can we do for this? And he doesn't answer. So I said, go call Tyra. And so she called Tyra, his wife, my cousin. And she gets a hold of her. She says, oh, he'll be right over. And so I'm sitting there holding pressure on this thing. And I'm like half dressed because I was in the middle of changing into my gym outfit. I was getting ready to put my gym outfit on. Blood everywhere. So the kids start working on cleaning up the blood out of the bathroom, and I hobble to the front door to meet him. And he comes in. And he said, well, let's pull it off her and see. I'm like, it's going to start spraying probably. I pulled it off and goes, oh, yeah. So he grabs some pads, some sterile gauze, puts on there, puts pressure on there, holds it on there for about 4 or 5 minutes, pulls it off, starts spraying again. At this point, I'm starting to get a little lightheaded. I'm like, what's going on here? So I put I'm going to quit messing with him. I'm sitting here demonstrating the hold I was putting on. I need to leave it alone. So I put the bandage on there. He put an ace bandage on there. He said, hey, let's put it on there for an hour. He said, I'm going to go back home, take it off an hour. If it's still bleeding, you need to go in the hospital. They're probably going to have to do surgery. I said, surgery? Emergency room hospital? That's going to be like 30 to 70 grand. He's like, yeah, maybe. I said, you don't understand. I don't have medical insurance. I've got Christian health sharing. I said, they're going to want me to pay as much of that as I can. I said, I'm gonna put that bandage on there. We'll see how it goes. And so after an hour, we took it off, and sure enough, it just started running back down my leg again. It wasn't spraying across the room this time, but it was running down my leg, almost as much blood. And this is like now, like 12:30 in the morning, and the kids are all like freaking out, and the wife's freaking out, and I'm like, we're gonna put fresh bandage on. So I put fresh in it, wrapped it back up with the ace bandage, and pinned it. And I told the kids, "Come on in here. We're gonna pray." And I said, "Y'all lay hands on me. We're gonna pray. God takes care of this, and we're just gonna wait till morning and see what happens." And so I mean, with the pressure dressing on there, it held fine. It wasn't a problem. But they prayed. We all prayed that God would heal it. It'd be His will that He would heal it, and told them all to go to bed. And Chris was like, "Well, so one was going to stay up." I said, "Nah, it'll be all right." I said, "We'll just set an alarm, check it every hour." I said, "I won't die within an hour, surely." So I've got an oximeter, and so I put one of those on my toe to make sure I had plenty of pulse. I had a good pulse in my foot, and I had good oxygen readings in my foot, so through my toes. So I knew that I was getting blood through. The bandage wasn't too tight and things like that. And I set an alarm every hour to get up and check, make sure I wasn't bleeding all over the bed or something. And the next morning, got up about 7 o'clock, and we took the bandage off. And no blood, no bleeding. Praise God. We praised God. Told the kids, "Hey, God healed it. It's good. We're all good." But that comes back to the point where you never know when you're going to have a bleed. And I know I told you guys I went to that medical tactical class. I think it's called med tac or tac med. I took through the Borks. Stu the Gun has the same kind of class, like beyond the Band-Aid class. I think they call it. Go get you some first aid training. Get you a tourniquet and learn how to use it. And get you a little kit. And this is one I just keep. It's the Studio of the Gun kit. It's got all the bells and whistles in it. I know how to use everything but the needle. But if there's a nurse, or in the case that I've got a paramedic that lives across the street from me, he can use all that stuff. And so if you got it with you and there's a doctor or nurse there, they can use it if you don't know how to use it. But it's best to go ahead and get that training, because you never know when something like a little bitty varicose vein that you wouldn't think a varicose vein would bleed like that. Wow, I never thought that. I don't, Doug. You told me you had that experience.
I had the exact same thing, man. I reached over and scratched the side of the outside of my thigh, and I just scratched it. I didn't think I scratched it hard or nothing.
Yeah.
And I was just standing there, and all of a sudden I felt my leg getting warm. I was like, "What is that?" And I just put my hand down there, and when I raised my hand back up, my whole palm of my hand was covered with blood. I was like, "Huh, well, that ain't good." So I reached down and grabbed it again. I'm like, "Oh man, that's bleeding." And I looked down, and I was shooting a stream of blood across the room. And it was just, it looked like somebody was just writing on the wall as it was spraying. I was like, "Oh my goodness." So I grabbed the towel off the little hand towel off the sink, and I slapped it on there, put pressure on it. I said, that ain't good. And I held it for a couple minutes, and I was like, I did just like you, I pulled the towel back, and when I did, it shot and sprayed across the side of the bathtub and into the shower. And I was like, "Oh Lord, I'm about to die." So I went and woke my wife up. I'm like, "I'm bleeding out." She's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I'm bleeding out."
Yeah.
And I laid down on the bed. I was going hunting that morning with a buddy of mine, and I had that towel on there. And she's like, she turned the light on. She come in. She said, let me see." I said, "Don't take the towel off. I'm telling you, don't take the towel off." She said, "Well, I can't look at it if you don't take the towel off." I was like, "Okay." She moved the towel, man. It just went, shot straight up in the air.
Yeah.
And she said, "You're bleeding out." I'm like, "No kidding. Put the towel back on it." So I laid there for, I don't know, a good 35, 40 minutes and just kept pressure on that little spot, man. And it didn't seem like nothing, And she went in there, she come back, she said, "The bathroom looked like O.J. Simpson had done killed somebody in there." I was like, "I know, right?"
That's what it looked like in our bathroom. It was like there was blood all over the place, and the kids were cleaning blood off of chair legs and
Oh
blood.
yeah.
I'm like, good grief! And they said it was underneath the chair. I'm like, underneath the chair, and Kristen said it was in the wall of the in the toilet area. It
Oh yeah.
sprayed all the way
I
across the
covered
room.
up a wall. It just we have a white beadboard that goes around the side, and that beadboard had just red graffiti wrote all over the side. It looked like I tried to spell my name at one time. I was like, oh, where's a towel? Where's a towel?
It's crazy, and and I never had heard of that. I never experienced that. So you never know when you're going
Mm.
to stop a bleed. And if you got something on you, you ain't running around the house bleeding out trying to find something or running to the truck trying to get a first aid kit. I could just imagine being on a hike or being out hunting and not have anything with you and try to hold your leg and just sit there and you don't have any phone signal service trying to get a hold of somebody to come wrap your leg up. It's cheap, man. I mean, you can go to Walmart and buy sterile bandages, and you can buy you a Ace bandage, and put that in a Ziploc bag and drop it in any pocket of your pants. And
Hmm.
you got a way of stopping the blood, and you need to get a tourniquet to be able to stop major bleeds. And it's simple to learn. It's a simple thing to learn how to use a tourniquet. But in a million years, I never would have thought that scratching your leg would lead to blood spraying at the point where I was starting to get. By the time we figured out what was going on and got a handle on it, I was starting to get a little nauseous and lightheaded. I was like, "This thing, right?" There was blood everywhere, and when I was at, so I didn't know if I was going to go to the USCCA because I'm like, "How long do I need to keep off this leg?" Because I don't want the thing opening back up. And I was thinking, I'm be standing for 2 to 3 days, and that's a lot of pressure to be standing all day long with that. And it says, oh well, if it holds 24 hours, he said, I would give it another day. So that's why I didn't go Friday because this Thursday I was weak. I was seriously weak on Thursday. I was drinking all the protein I could get and all the juice I get my blood sugar low because I felt like I don't know how much I bled out, but before I could figure out what was going on, it was everywhere. I mean, it was like a, it looked like almost like a half-inch diameter stream of blood shooting 6 feet, 7 feet.
You want to know what it looks like to get a good graphic of it? Turn your water hose on and take a little pin or something and punch a hole in it
Yeah,
and watch that stream that comes out of it. And that's exactly what it looks like,
yeah.
except it's red and it's spraying all over everything.
But it was, you would think it would pump, like with your heart beating.
Uh-uh.
This is a solid stream of blood just spraying across the room. It's just the
It,
weirdest thing I've ever seen.
mine was the exact same way. And when you started telling me about it, I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. It made me nervous.
Yeah. I mean, but I thought, well, I got enough blood, I should be okay. But I don't know if it's just the excitement of it all or what. But man, I was getting a little. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm up for this.
It probably looked like a lot more blood than what there actually was.
I don't know, man. Them kids is washing and cleaning for a couple of hours,
I know.
wiping up stuff and mopping stuff. It was all over the place, and I didn't even know there was places that bled. I didn't even know it was bleeding. Apparently, when I was moving or something, I let off pressure and it was squirting out in different places,
Hmm.
and it was all over the house. It was nuts. So we got through it. But I tell you what, guys, get you an IFAK, an individual first aid kit. That's what IFAK stands for. IFA, whatever I put there. Okay, whatever it said. Individual first aid kit. It's a cheap insurance, and so the bleed kit that I've got, I built for church, and I built for like a mass situation or like an accident, which has, of course, your latex gloves in it. It's got multiple sterile bandages, sterile uh, gauze in it. It's got like six. I'm drawing blanks here tonight. It's got like six saline syringes to wash out wounds with. It's got I've got four. Um, Man, I should have wrote everything down. I'm looking like an idiot here. It's got four of the. Uh, Help me, Doug. I'm done going stupid. Four of the Curlex. I've got probably 10 Curlex bandages in there. That's that like a sports bandage. It sticks to itself. That stuff works great. I used that for the next. I took off the ace bandage after 24 hours and just wrapped it with the Curlex and gauze just to keep it from getting dirty or keep from bumping it again or scratching it again. And that worked really well. And I've got how many of the Cat 5 tourniquets? I got like four Cat 5 tourniquets. I got two of the soft T tourniquets in that bag, and I've got iodine pads, and I've got nasal phalangeal tubes to clear airways. And what else have I got? I got some other stuff I'm not really licensed to do, but if there's a medic around or tea or something, they can do it.
Yeah, if somebody's there.
Yeah. So just it's cheap insurance. Learn how to use it. You would think you would know how to use a tourniquet. It's not rocket science, but until you've had to try to do it and make sure you cut off their circulation and know how you know that you cut off their circulation, it's important to learn how to do it. And each one of them is different. The rat, the student of the gun one comes with a rat's tourniquet, which works better with kids. It doesn't work as well with the guys my size, but I keep it in there. It's already sealed up, so I just keep it in there. And then I've got another one. I always keep a soft tee in my pocket of my cargo pants or my or wearing pants or jacket. And I keep keep two of the Curlexes, and I keep two of the big 4x4 gauze pads to cover up wounds and things like that. So it's something that you need to think about. Something you need to do. I've rambled on long enough.
I used to teach it when I was in the Air Force. I was in the 5th Combat Comm.
Oh, cool.
I was CPR and first aid buddy care instructor. So we used to have fun with people always say, "Oh, I can put a tourniquet on." Just like you said, until you actually do one,
Yep.
It's like it's not cut off.
Nope. The class I took, they go bang bang bang, right arm. You can't use your buddy has to put it on there, wherever. And so you have to buddy up with someone. You have to put theirs on them while they put theirs on you. And it was a lot of times you had to use your left hand to put it on your right arm. And if you're right-handed, that's not very familiar. So you got to reverse everything and try to make it work quick. And you only had like 30 seconds. If you didn't do it within 30 seconds, you had to go out and do push-ups and stuff like that. So
yeah, because you were probably going to die.
Yeah, you don't stop a major bleed. 30 seconds, you're going to be heading towards shock pretty quick. Yeah. All right. So, anything else, Doug, on main topic?
No, that's good. Other than I hate that I couldn't be up there this week and go see all our buddies.
We could have used you, man. It was busy. It was really, really busy. There was a couple slow periods, but most of the time it was really busy in the booth. I didn't have time to eat breakfast because we got a late start because I had to drop off Audrey at her grandparents on the way up, and that took longer than I was planning. And I didn't feel good that morning, so I got there like 9:30. I was supposed to be in the booth at 10, and then nobody knew who was going to give me a pass because I was supposed to have a media pass waiting for me at the gate, which they didn't. So they wrote down one for me on a little badge. They just wrote it, so I looked real professional. But got in there right at 10 o'clock. I walked in the booth and Murray was in there with him. I was like, "Hey, just put me on his crew." Like, "Oh, we can't do that."
Well, sure you can.
I'm just gonna be working for them today. It's fine. Murray said, "Yeah, he's gonna be working for me all day." And so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun hanging out with those guys. A lot of fun meeting all the listeners and all that stuff. All right. So how can you help out the show? Patreon. If you would like to support us, you can use our Patreon account. It's patreon.com/God and Guns. Thanks for all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. I've heard back from everybody saying, "Hey, don't send the money back back for January when we were like not here at all." And top contributors, of course, is Tim, Kim, John Odlin, Doug Schultz, Steve Stone. You guys keep Steve Stone in your prayers. He's still dealing with that loss of his dad. Just it was so sudden and was unexpected. I mean, he was in good health and just they've just had a real rough time with it. So keeping them in your prayers. Shannon Copeland, Chuck Shettle, which we heard from again today, and it's good to hear the story of how Mike referred to him
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and how he's become a real good friend of the show. Patriot Patch, patches and stickers. Uh, they are available in our store on Facebook and our store online, and there's a link in our show notes as well. You can also help us by joining the NRA. The NRA is not made me happy lately, but they're still the best that we get out there. You can join the Second Amendment Foundation. I am a life member of the Second Amendment Foundation as well, but I have not set up anything with them. I guess we probably could do that, but NRA is probably the spearhead, even though it's a pretty dull one right now. For some reason, they just can't get their act together. Devore, if you would like to save money on really cool stuff and get in trouble with your wife, go to use our Devore link, and you can find some cool stuff and get great deals on it. Laser Activated Shot Report, they were at the show this weekend and stopped in there, and they didn't have it. I think they had one guy on trying to keep up with everybody, and they had a line waiting to try out the laser app program. It was cool. Use our coupon code GANDG and get a 10% discount and laser app. If you want to know more about it, it's lasrapp.com. Hoplite Armor affiliate, our buddy, uh, uh, gosh, drawing a blank like crazy right now. I'm sorry. I should have went to bed like earlier last night. I hear something playing, Doug.
What in the world?
You're playing some kind of link. Okay. So Hoplite, we're a Hoplite Armor affiliate. So check them out using our link. Zija, I use Zija. Somebody sent me an email and I didn't get back to you because it was right about the time I had that leg bleed. I just now remembered it. I need to get back with you about Zija. But Zija, I use for feeling better, and I use all their products pretty much. They've got essential oils and all at Gizmo, guideandguns.myzija.com. And then let's see, you got the next one.
The next one is let me catch up with you here. Crossbreed holsters. Like Troy said, being at the USCCA, Crossbreed holsters was the main sponsor probably for the expo. They had everything possible you could want up there. If you are carrying a gun on your person, in your vehicle, or next to your bed, check them out. They have a holster for you, the most comfortable holsters you will ever wear. I promise you. Troy and I both carrying the Super Tuck Deluxe, and we love them. And they're just great holsters. Go check these guys out, crossbreedholsters.com, and use our promo code GNG and get a discount on us. Also, Axelson Tactical. Jeff and our buddies down at Axelson make an outstanding rifle. It's one of the best shooting guns I've ever shot. Precision rifles. They make custom pistols, knives. They have a really cool backpack on their site now that converts out to you can use it for a pad to lay out to shoot off of if you're at the range. It folds itself up and makes a backpack out of it. Really cool stuff. Go check them out. Jeff and those guys will be happy to hook you up with a high precision rifle. AxelsonTactical.com, or I think their new site is actually AxelsonUSA.com. Use our promo code God and Guns. Get a 10% discount from Jeff and them just for hanging out with us.
All right. And who I kept forgetting the name of was Lyman Bishop.
Lyman.
Lyman. I'm still messing up, and I'm hitting the wrong thing. I'm trying to type in. Lemon Bishop is owner of Hoplite Armor, and he's a good guy. And I'm supposed to get back with him about having him on the show here. I haven't talked with him since Shaw's show. Antares Alliance, we're a life member of Antares Alliance. If you want to know more about Antares Alliance, go to AntaresAlliance.com and you can find out all about the um, retired veterans who have, or veterans who have started their own companies, and patriots and good Americans that have started patriotic companies that have all been vetted by the Antares Alliance group. And you can, if you join the Antares Alliance, you can get a discount. If you join as a life member, there's only a certain number of those. Once they've sold, I think there's 500 or 1,000 total life members. Once they've sold all those, there's no more, and you get even more discounts and get to all the events for free. It's really cool, and they've got a lot of events that's planned this year. So check them out. TearsAlliance.com. NRA Armed Citizen, Doug, what do you got?
NRA Armed Citizen, the one I actually put in the show notes, and I'll swap it out. I think we already did that one. After I got to read it, I was like, that sounds awful familiar. So I went and pulled a new one. This one is, I would have taken the shot. Airedale man holds would-be burglar at gunpoint until deputies arrive. That comes, and the author on this is Sean Taylor. And let's see. Oakley was barking. That was unusual because seldom actually barks, especially at 7 a.m. in the morning. That's why Oakley owner Owen Turman decided to get out of bed and head downstairs to quiet the dog. It was Saturday morning after all. What Turman didn't expect was a strange man in his outdoor sunroom trying to get in the house. Turman, who lives in Culpeper Road off of Wilkesboro Highway, quickly snatched his .22 caliber bolt-action rifle and went around back to confront the stranger. I saw him turn the handle on the door and twist real hard trying to get in, said Turman, recounting the events of April 8th. When I saw that, I instantly put my rifle up at him. He asked the man what he was doing, told him to get away from the door and to lie on the ground. The stranger followed the orders but didn't answer questions like who he was or what he was doing. Turman still was in his underwear, police said, and he waited. His fiancée and two daughters, one 6 years old and the other infant, remained inside unaware of what was unfolding outside. My main concern was I have to protect my home and my family, Turman said. The only thing I was thinking was keeping my family safe. He couldn't help but worry about the possibility of his oldest daughter coming downstairs and finding the man pointing a gun at another man. He was worried that he would have to shoot someone in front of his little girl. I want her to know home is a safe place, he said. Turman said that while the suspect was laying on the ground, he began rummaging through his pockets. He kept trying to take needles out of his pocket and throw them under Turman's vehicle. Look, man, you're making me nervous, Turman recalled telling the man before he ordered him to stop, but the man continued to dig in his pockets, and Irwin County deputies ran up seconds later. Turman said the intruder struggled with the deputy, but eventually was taken into custody. According to an arrest report from the Airedale County Sheriff's Office, the suspect, Jason Millsaps, 22, faces charges of breaking and entering possession of a Schedule 4 controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting public officer. Millsap was given a $1,500 secured bond. His arrest report said that he consumed drugs and alcohol before the arrest. And Turman said he was thankful to be a gun owner who was able to protect his family. He also said he appreciates his usually quiet dog responding to the disputes. Truman, who has trouble sleeping since the accident, he is knows things could have have ended differently. He said last statement, he said, if it came down to it, my family is most important. Truman said, I would have shot if it had came down to that. Like I said, that story came to us. Where did he come? Where is that from? I'm trying to figure out what city it was in, actually.
What was the name of that parkway?
Huh?
The road you said up the beginning.
Trudale, something. Irwindale or something. Road off Wilkesboro Highway. We didn't say what's
Pennsylvania.
What Pennsylvania?
Wilkesboro, isn't that Pennsylvania?
I don't know. It doesn't say. But anyway, another bad guy down.
I think it's Pennsylvania. Seems weird. Wilkes-Barre. Now I'm thinking about Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Don't know. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up. You got anything else, Doug?
I'm good, man.
Any of our listeners got anything else?
Let me flip over there and see. Nope.
Nothing new. All right. We're going to wrap it up then. So you can send your feedback to Troy at guidinggunspodcast.com or
Doug at guidinggunspodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/guidinggunspodcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, and there's a big long hyperlink in there that you can get notes because I'm not going to read it. Twitter is Guiding Guns Pod. Search for us on Instagram and search for us on MeWe. Well, if we disappear off of Facebook, we'll probably be over on MeWe till we figure out what we're doing. So yeah. you can find me over there, or you can email me at my email address because I own that. And then so our website is guidinggunspodcast.com. So our stuff should still be over there. And it should still be on iTunes as far as I know, and Stitcher and Podbean, everywhere else that you can download it. There's multiple places to download it. So I guess this is it, Doug. Until next time, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Good night, guys.
Have a good night.